What if magic never disappeared, only changed its form? Long before algorithms and screens, before data and desire were quietly engineered, there was Babylon, a city praised as the cradle of enlightenment, yet whispered about as the birthplace of corruption. Its towers reached for the heavens, its scholars mapped the stars, and its libraries held knowledge powerful enough to elevate the human mind or destroy it. Babylon was not merely a city of stone. It was a laboratory of consciousness, where wisdom and temptation shared the same breath. And it is here, in the city of contradictions, that the Quran reveals one of its most unsettling mysteries, a story not of demons, but of angels, Harut and Marut, beings sent not with swords or fire, but with knowledge, forbidden knowledge, knowledge so dangerous that it could fracture families, bend wills, and reshape reality itself. Why would angels teach humans what could harm them? Why would divine messengers place such power into fragile hands? The Quran does not call this a gift, it calls it a test, a trial of discernment, intention, and restraint. A moment where humanity was forced to confront a timeless question. Not can we wield power, but should we? In the secrets of Babylon, in the story of Harut and Marut, lies a warning that echoes across centuries. Because the real danger was never magic itself, but what the human soul chooses to do with forbidden knowledge. Babylon did not rise by accident. It rose because humanity, for the first time, decided to look upward and inward at the same time. This was a city where the night sky was not admired, but studied. The stars were not distant lights, but living symbols. Babylonian scholars traced the movements of the heavens with precision, turning chaos into calendars, destiny into equations. Mathematics was born here, not as abstraction, but as sacred order. Geometry was not decoration, it was a language believed to mirror the structure of the universe itself. In Babylon, numbers had meaning, shapes had power, and knowledge was never neutral. This was the first civilization to understand that reality could be decoded, that patterns repeat across the cosmos and the human soul alike. And once something can be decoded, it can be influenced. But Babylon did not stop at astronomy and mathematics. It went further, into the unseen. Here, occult knowledge was not scattered folklore. It was organized, preserved, refined. Rituals were written down. Symbols were standardized. Incantations followed precise structures, much like formulas. This was the moment when mystery became method, when the invisible was treated as a system. The temples of Babylon were not merely places of prayer. They were laboratories of the sacred and the forbidden. By day, incense rose in devotion. By night, the same halls echoed with whispered names, drawn symbols, and words believed to bend unseen forces. Worship and ritual shared the same stone floors. Reverence and ambition knelt before the same altars. And standing at the center of this world was a unique class of individuals. Priests, astronomers, magicians, and scribes fused into one. They were the keepers of both heaven and shadow, interpreters of stars, guardians of words, engineers of belief. They understood something humanity would rediscover thousands of years later, that whoever controls symbols controls perception. Whoever controls perception controls behavior, and whoever controls behavior quietly controls destiny. Yet Babylon was not evil by nature. It was brilliant, and brilliance, when unanchored from morality, becomes dangerous. The same city that measured the heavens also experimented with the human soul. The same hands that charted planetary cycles also wrote spells meant to influence love, fear, loyalty, and fate. Wisdom and corruption grew side by side, indistinguishable at first, until their consequences unfolded. This is the Babylon history remembers in fragment. But the Quran reveals what history alone cannot. In Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 1-2, the Quran pulls back the veil. It speaks of Babylon not as myth, but as moral reality, and it introduces two figures unlike any other in sacred history, Harut and Marut. Not demons, not false prophets, but angels. This alone unsettles the mind, because angels, in Islamic understanding, do not rebel, they do not deceive, they do not act from desire. So why are their names forever associated with magic, seer, a practice condemned for its harm and corruption? The answer is precise, and it is severe. Harut and Marut were sent as a test. They did not arrive to promote disbelief. They did not tempt people into darkness. They warned every soul who approached them with the same words: "We are only a trial. Do not deny." Before any knowledge was given, the warning was delivered. Before any formula was taught, responsibility was placed. Before power was transferred, accountability was declared. This is where many misunderstand the story. The angels did not corrupt Babylon, they exposed it. They revealed what happens when humans are offered power without spiritual discipline, when knowledge is separated from divine alignment, when the ego seeks control instead of surrender. Magic, as defined in the Quranic worldview, is not illusion. It is influence without moral grounding, power exercised without submission to God, knowledge pursued not to heal but to dominate. And this is why the Quran is explicit. This knowledge harmed people. It separated spouses, it fractured trust, it poisoned relationships. Not because the knowledge itself was alive, but because the hearts wielding it were unprepared. Harut and Marut stood as mirrors. They showed humanity its own reflection, that not all knowledge is meant to be used, that not all capability is meant to be exercised, and that wisdom without humility becomes destruction. This is the Islamic perspective on magic, clear and uncompromising. The danger is not in knowing, the danger is in forgetting who knowledge belongs to. Babylon fell not because it lacked intelligence, but because it mistook power for truth. And the Quran records this moment not as history but as warning, because the test of Harut and Marut never ended. It only changed its language. And the question they posed still echoes today. When knowledge is placed in your hands, will it elevate your soul or enslave it? There is something ancient inside the human mind, a hunger not just to understand the world, but to control it. From the beginning, humans were never satisfied with knowing what is. They wanted to know how to bend it, how to tilt fate slightly in their favor, how to influence outcomes before they unfold. This is why forbidden knowledge has always been more seductive than wisdom. Not because it is evil, but because it promises power without patience, results without discipline, and certainty without surrender. Knowledge itself is neutral. It has no moral direction of its own. Like fire, it can warm a home or burn it to ash. The danger does not live in the information. It lives in the intention of the one who holds it. This is where Babylon understood something most civilizations would forget and later rediscover. They realized that the human mind is not only a receiver of reality, but a participant in it. Magic, in its earliest form, was not about illusions or spectacle. It was proto-psychology. Words were chosen carefully, not for poetry, but for effect. Symbols were not decoration, but anchors for belief. Rituals were structured experiences designed to alter emotional states, heighten suggestibility, and bypass conscious resistance. The Babylonians knew that when emotion rises, reason loosens its grip. That fear, desire, and awe open doors the rational mind keeps closed. They understood suggestion long before the word existed. They practiced mental programming without naming it. They recognized that repeated symbols carve grooves into the psyche, and that the mind, once shaped, begins to obey patterns unconsciously. This is the hidden truth beneath forbidden knowledge. It works best not because it is supernatural, but because the human mind is malleable. And when knowledge is used without ethical restraint, it does not enlighten, it engineers. Harut and Marut did not introduce corruption. They revealed humanity's vulnerability to influence. They exposed how easily power, when detached from divine alignment, turns inward and consumes the soul that wields it. This is inner alchemy's central lesson. The most dangerous knowledge is not what changes the world, but what quietly reshapes the self. Now pause and look around. The cloaks are gone. The temples have changed shape, but the mechanisms remain. Ancient spells relied on rhythm, repetition, and charged emotion. Modern hypnosis does the same. Neurolinguistic programming mirrors old incantations in structure, if not in language. Subliminal messaging uses images and phrases, too fast for conscious defense, but slow enough for the subconscious to absorb. The Babylonians believed words alter reality. Modern neuroscience agrees, just using different terminology. Repetition strengthens neural pathways. What is heard often enough begins to feel true. What is seen repeatedly becomes familiar, and familiarity is mistaken for safety. This is the psychology of persuasion at work. Advertisements do not sell products, they sell identities. They associate desire with images, fear with absence, worth with consumption. They bypass logic and speak directly to the emotional brain, the same place ancient rituals were designed to reach. Ask yourself, why does a song stay in your head long after it ends? Why does an image resurface without invitation? Why does a phrase repeated across media suddenly feel like your own thought? Because the mind does not distinguish between a spell and a slogan. It only recognizes repetition and emotion. Ancient magic required candles and circles. Modern magic requires screens. What once took hours of ritual now takes seconds of exposure, again and again, quietly shaping preferences, beliefs, and fears. This is not coincidence, it is design. So the question must be asked, honestly and without comfort, is advertising the new spellcraft? Is influence the modern form of magic? And if so, who is casting it? And who is unaware they are under its effect? Babylon believed those who mastered words could master reality. Today, those who master attention shape behavior. The test of Harut and Marut has not ended. It has simply evolved. And the final question remains unchanged across thousands of years. When knowledge reaches into your mind, do you recognize it, or do you surrender without knowing? Magic no longer whispers from temples, it hums quietly behind screens. There are no candles now, no sacred circles drawn on stone floors, only glowing rectangles in our hands, always watching, always listening, always learning. What ancient magicians sought through years of ritual, modern systems achieve through data. Every pause, every click, every second of attention offered without thought. Social media feeds are not neutral streams of information. They are behavioral shaping tools, sequences carefully arranged to guide emotion, reinforce belief, and prolong engagement. Each scroll is a repetition. Each repetition is a reinforcement. These are digital incantations, not spoken aloud but felt, not announced but absorbed. The ancient sorcerers studied the stars to read fate. Today, algorithms study behavior to predict it. Patterns of desire, fear, loneliness, outrage, mapped, measured, and modeled with precision. Big data has become the new astrology. Artificial intelligence, the modern oracle. It does not ask who you are. It calculates who you will become. What you are shown shapes what you think about. What you think about shapes what you feel. What you feel shapes what you choose, and choice, once guided, begins to disappear. Who controls attention controls awareness. Who controls awareness controls values. And whoever controls values quietly controls society. This is not a conspiracy, it is infrastructure. The systems do not need to be evil to be dangerous, they only need to be optimized for engagement rather than truth, for stimulation rather than wisdom. So the question must be asked, slowly and honestly, do you choose your thoughts, or are they chosen for you? Because when influence becomes invisible, resistance becomes rare. History does not repeat itself loudly, it echoes. Babylon did not fall in a single night. It eroded from within. Families fractured as power replaced principle. Sacred values became negotiable. What was once forbidden became normalized. Not because people stopped knowing right from wrong, but because wrong became profitable. The same pattern unfolds again. Cruelty is reframed as strength. Manipulation is called intelligence. Shamelessness is marketed as confidence. And success, stripped of ethics, is celebrated without question. What once required secrecy now parades openly. In ancient times, people felt shame when they crossed moral boundaries. Shame acted as a guardian of the soul. Today, shame is mocked, erased, and inverted. Those who expose wrongdoing are attacked, while those who exploit others are rewarded. This is how civilizations lose their center. Values are not removed by force. They are diluted, slowly, comfortably, until no one remembers defending them. And it does not take centuries. One generation is enough to corrupt a society, but one generation is also enough to heal it. Babylon teaches us this lesson with brutal clarity. When knowledge outpaces wisdom, collapse becomes inevitable. When power grows faster than responsibility, destruction follows quietly. The question is no longer whether we are repeating the Babylon pattern. The evidence surrounds us. The question is whether we recognize it in time. Because every civilization believes it is immune, until it becomes a warning for those who come after. And the most dangerous moment is not collapse itself, but the moment people stop noticing that something sacred has been lost. Every civilization that falls leaves behind ruins, but every civilization that survives leaves behind wisdom. The way back was never hidden in spells, symbols, or secret knowledge. It was hidden in restraint. True power is not the ability to influence others. It is the ability to govern the self. The ancient world searched outward, toward stars, names, rituals, believing control lay beyond them. But revelation turned humanity inward and upward at the same time. It reminded us that mastery begins not with shaping reality, but with shaping intention. Inner alchemy is not the rejection of knowledge, it is the purification of it. Knowledge without faith becomes arrogance. Knowledge without ethics becomes weaponized. Knowledge without consciousness becomes manipulation, whether ancient or modern. This is why Islam does not wage war against knowledge, it disciplines it. In the Islamic worldview, knowledge is an amanah, a trust. It is borrowed, not owned. It is given with responsibility, not entitlement. Faith anchors the intellect. Ethics guide the will. Conscious awareness guards the heart. Without these, even brilliance becomes destructive. Islam restores balance where Babylon lost it. It returns knowledge to its proper hierarchy, below divine truth, not above it. It teaches that the unseen is not a playground for ambition, but a domain of reverence. That power belongs to God alone, and humans are stewards, not architects of destiny. Where magic sought control, Islam teaches surrender. Where manipulation exploits weakness, Islam strengthens character. Where influence bypasses consent, Islam insists on accountability, before people and before God. This is protection in its truest form. Not protection from information, but from corruption of the soul. When a person knows who they serve, they cannot be easily controlled. When a person disciplines desire, fear loses its leverage. When a person aligns with divine truth, false narratives lose their spell. This is the alchemy Babylon never mastered, the transformation of the self, not the domination of others. And this path remains open, unshamed by time, untouched by algorithms. The real magic was never spells, it was influence, it was the quiet shaping of thought, the invisible steering of desire, the unnoticed rewriting of values. And the greatest illusion was believing we were immune. But awareness breaks spells, consciousness dissolves manipulation, and truth, once recognized, cannot be unseen. So question what you consume. Not everything that enters your mind deserves to stay there. Guard your attention, because attention is life in its rawest form. Ask yourself who benefits from what you fear, what you desire, and what you repeat. This is not a call to reject the world, it is a call to see it clearly, to live deliberately, to think consciously, to align knowledge with wisdom. If this journey resonated with you, this is what Inner Alchemy exists for. To explore the hidden forces shaping the human mind and to reclaim sovereignty over thought, belief, and soul. Subscribe to Inner Alchemy for deeper explorations beyond the surface, and share this with those who sense that something unseen is shaping our world and are brave enough to look directly at it. Because the final test was never about knowledge. It was about who you become when you possess it. And that test is still unfolding.